to another Teaching Tuesday. Today I'd like to talk about finger picking on your ukulele, or rather that is getting ready for successful finger picking by checking in with a few things in our bodies. As a reminder, of course, the body of the instrument is nice and flush up against your body, up or down low, however that feels good, kind of nestled in your arms here. I like to tuck my ukulele into my elbow to secure it that way, and then I've got my neck here somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock, and the nut of my instrument resting on the base knuckle there of my index finger. Now let's warm up those individual picking fingers. You're going to, at the very least, be using your thumb and your index, so you want to be able to just move those separately. Wake up those little finger brains in there. Also possibly your middle, and also possibly your ring finger. Pinky gets a break this time around, right? But it's really, don't underestimate the power of just really stretching out your hand a little bit, moving those fingers around to wake them up and remind them that they can actually do things without all the others at the same time, right? That's what we're used to in strumming. In picking, we're going to be moving them separately. The next thing I'm going to do is find my position here on the instrument where I'm going to be doing my picking. Typically in strumming, I like to come down right about where the body meets the neck. But in this case, when I do that, I often end up getting tangled up a little bit in the fretboard personally, because the strings are quite close there. So I like to scooch it down just a little bit, not to the sound hole, but to this little box here of frets between where the body meets the neck and where the fretboard ends, right? So somewhere in there is where I'm going to be doing my picking. And it'll take some getting used to, because you have to adjust your forearm a little bit, find a place that feels good for you, where you get a good tone, but it's also easy for you to stay focused on those strings as well and find them easily. Then we have to decide how many fingers we're going to pick with. Depends a little bit on the pattern. Depends also a little bit on your experience, the goals that you have for your playing. So I want to really make clear that this is a very personal decision. There's nothing wrong with picking with 2 fingers. There are some extremely famous and prolific musicians who only ever picked with 2 fingers. You can start there. If you are new to picking, new to playing, definitely recommend starting that way. You can also play with 3. That's how I taught myself. That tends to be my default, so thumb, index, and middle. If you're feeling very ambitious, or you want to just lay down some really great habits and set that path out for yourself, you can do all 4 as well. Again, entirely personal decision. You can start with 2 and gradually add on, or you can set that big goal of 4 fingers and start with that, or whatever feels most natural for you today. So you're going to want to take some time to just play around on those strings and see what feels natural for you. If I'm plucking with 2 fingers, what I end up doing is using the thumb on the G and the C strings, index finger on the E and the A strings. So depending on the pattern that I have, I might be doing like a little leapfrog pattern, G, E, C, A, right? I'm going to be doing that with thumb, index, right? That's a really nice way to do it. And just sort of warm up. Oops, I switched to 3 fingers. Can you tell I'm used to that? You can kind of warm up with a little bit of that, see how that feels. If you're like me and you want to try that with 3, it's going to be thumb, index, thumb, middle, right? So again, the thumb is here on the G and the C, index is on the E string, and now the third, that middle finger is on the A string, right? Just a nice exercise for getting used to using those fingers separately, and take that as slow as you need to. If I'm using 4 fingers, then each finger has a string, right? Your thumb is on G, index is on C, middle is on E, and your ring finger is on A. This is something I'm trying to do more with my picking. So in this case, our little leapfrog pattern is going to be thumb, middle, index, ring, right? Thumb on G, I gotta think about this. Middle on E, thumb on, index on C, and ring on A. See, that's the one I'm gonna be practicing. Again, great way. I can really feel my fingertips waking up here. But also getting into a steady pattern and getting into that kind of what I like to call finger choreography. And that's really what picking is all about. You're working them separately, but they're still falling into a certain predictable pattern together, just like a strum pattern. It's just each part is much more individual than it was before. So again, really encourage you to take some time here, play just some pattern of strings that feels good for you. 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers, try them all, try one, whatever works for you. Really spend some time waking up those fingers and getting to know where you want to be picking these strings and with which fingers as well. Get comfortable with it. And when you're ready, you can check out the rest of the videos in this playlist. I'll include the link below where you can learn your first patterns and some songs to use those patterns in. Can't wait to work with you through these. Enjoy.